Open Secure Shell technical discussion. The SSH protocol encrypts network traffic for file sharing and remote desktop applications. Some of the things part of OpenSSH has strong cryptography. It's just a mechanism. This encryption begins before the authentication runs, so whatever encryption algorithm you use, it begins before authentication. It begins. X11 forwarding enables encryption of remote X Windows traffic, preventing agents from snooping or entering malicious commands. The X Windows frame is pretty much the GUI, the window that you see on Linux terminals. So it encrypts that going in and out of connections. Port forwarding allows the forward of TCP IP connections to a remote machine over an encrypted channel. Uses strong authentication. You can use public key, one-time password, a secure key, or Kerberos. Another thing is agent forwarding. Open Secure Shell automatically forwards the connection to the authentication agent over any connections, and there's no need to store the authentication keys on any machine in the network except for the local host. OpenSSH technical discussion. Only use SSH protocol 2. Protocol 1 has been known to have many vulnerabilities. Most notable is it is vulnerable to man-in-the-middle attacks, which a lot of times people can break the encryption and get inside and mess around. Yeah. Limit users' secure shell access. Do this to prevent unauthorized users from creating a new account and getting access to your root directory. Disable root login over secure shell. This is an extra little bit of, in the event that some malicious entity is able to get into the secure shell with your system, allow su and sudo to give that extra bit of chroot secure shell. Chrooting prevents users from seeing the full file system, only giving them access to necessary files. So you can, if you have multiple users on the system or getting onto your secure shell system, whatever it is, you can prevent users from looking at root or other files and only getting to stuff that they need, like need to know. Disable empty passwords. Prevent remote login using empty passwords to maintain the confidentiality of the system. There are also ways to prevent cracking of SSH. The reason why you want to do this is SSH is often used by attackers to crack it. Deny host and fail to ban are two good utilities to use to monitor and block malicious entities trying to brute force your secure shell connection. Rate limit incoming secure shell connections. Constantly trying to connect to a specific short time suspicious behavior. You want to limit the amount of incoming connections from a specific IP, unless it's your IP and you trust yourself, hopefully. But yeah. How to do some of this stuff. How do you only use SSH protocol 2? What you need to go is into the SSH config file. So in your command prompt or your terminal, type in vi. It will be /etc/SSH/SSHD _config, and make sure protocol 2 is the only protocol listed. Limit user secure shell access. You should only allow root and admin accounts to have root access. So again, go into the SSHD config file, and on the line there will be allow users. And for my system, root should have access to root, of course. ISA admin, which is my administrator account for the time being until that changes, and agreen57, which is the professor. Those are the only three that should have access to that root through secure shell. Disable remote login over secure shell. Go into SSH. This is just root login. Permit root login? No. Alright, how to chroot SSH? Use OpenSSH on internal SFT subsystem. Go into secure shell config and do subsystem SFTP internal -SFTP. Disable empty passwords. Still on that SSH config file. Permit empty passwords. Should have no next to it. Deny SSH cracking. In my example, I'm using deny hosts, which uses Python scripts to enter in external IP addresses that are constantly trying to get in and are trying to brute force or crack or get into your system. So first, to download deny host, you'll need to do yum install deny hosts. Likely you'll already be in su. If not, use sudo yum install deny host. It'll prompt you for your password and your password. Set deny thresholds: invalid equal to 5, valid to 10, root to 1, and restricted to 1. That should be in there. Limit how to limit incoming secure shell connections. Here you'll need to create a script and call it from IP tables. Create the script in gedit or whatever. But the script you're going to use is going to be that. It's going to start out with that pound and exclamation point, which is the just the beginning. Lets them know it's a script. And for bin bash, type in inet if equals eth1 secure shell underscore port 22 ipt I input. You can see that, all that. And once you're done, go into put the commands in IP. Now we're going ActiveDirectory. ActiveDirectory is a single database for Windows for information and authenticates users attempting to access information, matches their level of authorization, and then logs what those users do. ActiveDirectory has one domain controller. A domain controller is a server that takes care of managing ActiveDirectory, including hosting its database and handling the authorization, authentication, and accounting / logging mechanisms. 80 forest and domains. The forest is a top-level domain. This domain contains the upper-level domain. The top-level domain is a fully qualified domain name, such as mynamejjacob.com. If I want to create a new example domain inside of mynamejjacob.com, it would look like this: example.jacob.com. How to implement. You'll want the best practices. You want to implement a least privilege. Ensure all users receive the least amount of permission that is necessary to complete the given tasks. Implement a secure administration by use of smart cards. Implement a domain control. Prevent a malicious user from gaining access and end up either corrupting, modifying, or destroying the database in all systems or your accounts managed by the Active Directory. How to implement this? You'll need to go to Configure Administration, go to Policies, go to Windows Settings, Security Settings, and to Local Settings and User Rights. Enable or deny all application applicable settings and implementing a least privilege administration. Go to Computer Configuration, Policies, Settings, User Rights. How to implement a domain control. Download the System Center Virtual Machine Manager. Double click on the icon on the Connect to Server box. Locate the box for the server name. Type in the server's name followed by :. Type the port of connection to connect to a different account. Select specify credentials, use both the username and password. Click connect and select. Here's a list of references that I've used. This first page of references is specifically for Open Secure Shell. A lot of good sources to talk about how to prevent secure shell from being hacked and use it. And then my next page is specifically for Active Directory. There's some good pages for the basics if you're a beginner, how to design and manage your Windows networks, and some best practices. And that's it.